Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Now it's time for your weekly tech roundup with our expert editor of bandwidthblog.com, Theunis van Rensburg. Now, just this week, a report from the National Renewable Energy Lab in the US revealed that the cost of a solar power plant has dropped 30% in the last year, and other sources have said that the costs have dropped about 70% since 2010. Renewable energy is the way of the future. Here to tell us more is Theunis. So good to have you on the show again, Theunis.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about solar power for a second.
Yes.
There's been a huge push for solar power by China specifically. Has this affected the cost at all?
It definitely has. China is the biggest manufacturer of these parts, and they had been, even before they started to drive it internally as well. So before that, they were still pushing a lot into coal power plants, a lot of nuclear, but now they've made the decision to actually go into solar in a much more efficient way than was possible before, and a large part of that is because of their manufacturing processes, which have kind of dropped the prices as well because they've automated everything at larger scale. And the fact that they've actually built these plants now in-house, they've kind of fiddled with the technology a little bit. You know, it's really helping push the prices down, and they are saying that for the next 5 years, it's going to keep dropping by 10 to 20% per year. That's
amazing. So what does that mean for the future of coal and nuclear power?
Well, I think coal is already obsolete. Other than the environmental impact, it's actually a very inefficient way of generating power. So a lot of power actually goes to waste in burning these fossil fuels. And the other issue is, of course, you have to get the coal, it has to be extracted and refined and then pushed to the power plants. Nuclear will probably not die out anytime soon.
Okay.
It's a very efficient way of generating power, but people have safety concerns, of course.
Of course. Let's talk about other forms of renewable energy. I've heard of wind farms. How viable is that in comparison to solar farms?
Right, so, I mean, the two technologies have its pros and cons.
Yeah.
For solar plants, obviously, you need the sun to shine.
Yes.
Cloudy days aren't great for solar plants.
Yeah.
The wind, obviously, the wind needs to be blowing.
Of course.
The differences are subtle. So you don't need as much space with the wind farms, but it's also intermittent, obviously, because of the wind being blowing or not. There's also more maintenance costs with wind turbines because of the moving parts. It's a little bit more expensive to actually build as well when you look at it on a per kilowatt hour basis. So there's pros and cons depending on where we are in the world. We kind of decide what is the best to do in that location.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Theunis, for being here with us. And of course, if you want to get your daily dose of tech news and opinions, then head over to bandwidthblog.com.